If you haven't made any earnings in Fortnite, well, you have some good news because it's going to be easier than ever to make money in this game. You have no excuse anymore. A bunch of leakers like FireMonkey have just come out with some news about the tournaments coming out in Chapter 5 Season 1, and it's big. Solo Victory Cash Cups have been increased in terms of the amount of players that can qualify to the next round. For EU, that's 11,500 players that can make it through to round 2 of the Solo Victory Cup finals. For NA, that's top 9,000. For Brazil, Asia, Middle East, it's top 1250, and for OCE, top 750 makes it through to the next round. Now, this is massive news for a lot of us, especially some of the older gentlemen that are playing this game, because essentially they have doubled the amount of players that can make it through to the next round of Solo Victory Cash Cups. And what that basically means is pretty much double the amount of people can now earn in the Solo Victory Cash Cups. Now, what does that mean for you? Well, it's going to be easier and easier to make money in this game now because there's a whole lot of options for you to do it now. Alongside things like the duo cash cups being changed, we'll talk about in a second, Solo Victory Cash is the staple of Fortnite players and giving people the opportunity to make money in this game. Now, I saw a lot of people complaining about it on Twitter and obviously the issues about prize pool changes and things alike, but honestly, as much as pro players hate Solo Victory Cash Cups, I think they're very integral in order to build up a healthy competitive scene and allow players to sort of, start off nicely and get themselves motivated to continue on to the grind. If you look at the perspective from a player that's never made money before, well, it can get demotivating for someone that wants to grind FNCSs, duo cash cups, when they've never had a bit of the taste of getting that money in any sort of tournament. So Solo Victory Cash Cups are one of those things that, isn't going to sustain a pro player's income, but for the smaller players, it's going to motivate them and push themselves towards bigger tournaments and getting them on the grind, which ultimately is a good thing for the competitive scene because more people playing tournaments means more interest in the eyes of Epic, which means hopefully in the future more prize pools or a continued steady stream of prize pools and a continuation of the FNCSs and major LAN tournaments like Copenhagen. Now, alongside these changes, we've also had changes confirmed for the duo cash cups coming out, and it's kind of very interesting because the duo cash cups have now been split into 3 separate different cash cups. Now we have the duo cash cup normals, which are the 2-round tournaments that you usually expect. You have your 0-build duo cash cups alongside them, which is basically the same thing where top 50 makes it through to round 2 and it's a finals lobby sort of scenario. And we also have console cash cup duos alongside that. Now, this is slightly worrying for a lot of people because we've seen in previous iterations of tournaments like the PlayStation Cup that these tournaments have been split into 2 in 0 builds and build tournaments. And with that, prize pool has also been split into 2. Now, is that going to happen in this situation for duo cash cups? I'm going to be honest, and it probably seems very likely that the duo cash cup 0 build and the normal cash cup prize pools is going to be split into 2 more than likely because those are based the same sort of tournament but different iterations of 0 build and builds. And then I think and I hope console cash cups can have a separate prize pool because that's integral for the console players in order to create that healthy sort of community of console players that does exist in Fortnite. Now, console also has their own 0 build console cash cup alongside it, so more than likely the prize pools will be bolstered and buffed up a little bit for those guys as well. Now, is this a good thing for the game itself? Well, probably not in this instance, considering Epic has a tendency to put cash cups at the same time as each other. Obviously, we have Solo Victory Cash Cups running at the same time as the duo 0 build tournaments as well, so more than likely these cash cups are going to run simultaneously so that the more casual player base perhaps has a chance to do well versus the less casual player base. But what ends up happening most of the time, which I feel like Epic hasn't really realized, is that more than likely people just dominate other regions in this sense as well. So the 0 build duo cash cups are just going to be dominated by EU pros in North America, and then the EU 0 build cash cups are going to be dominated by the NA pros in EU. And at the end of the day, you're not really cultivating a community of casual players who enjoy 0 build. They're just going to get stomped by other region players like they usually do in duo victory cash cups or solo victory cash cups of opposite regions. So what's ended up happening in this case is them creating this separate ecosystem of 0 build and normal cash cups just ends up just being more harmful, I feel like, to the more casual community because they just get stomped by other region players regardless. Now, prize pools concerned, it seems more likely that the prize pools aren't going to change. For the past 2 years, I believe the prize pool has been $10 million across every single year, and that includes FNCSs, invitationals, lands, and all those things alike. What it does seem like is the way that Epic operates with their competitive prize pools is that it's like a marketing budget. More than likely, they get a set budget given to them by the main team at Fortnite game, and then they have that prize pool and they have that budget, and they can do whatever they want with that in the entire year of Fortnite competitive. So more than likely, I don't see any reason why the prize pool would be increased, because obviously the player count has gotten up after Fortnite OG, but the competitive player base does seem like it stains a little bit, it's increased a little bit, but there's no reason for them to increase the prize pool because it won't make more players play the game. So it's more likely that the prize pool is probably going to stay at $10 million for the next year. Nothing's confirmed yet, but more than likely that's going to be the case in this situation. And with that, that means that the prize pools for these cash cups and solo victory cups are going to be then limited, and more than likely then be split across both of them because they have a set budget of what they want to do, unless they take away some cash from the FNCSs, which definitely wouldn't be a best idea. I think this is the compromise we're gonna have to keep in order to have a nice little big LAN tournament at the end of this year of $2 million, and then obviously having a normal FNCS prize pools as well. Because there was nothing wrong with the FNCS system, and the prize pools were fine just in general, even though players do like to complain about it just all across the board. Now, the biggest concern, and obviously the take we can take from this in this situation, is the fact that every single tournament, at least the major tournaments of Next Chapter, are duos. Now, Epic has done 2 years in a row pretty much of duos, and it's been a year straight of duos. And is that an actual good thing for the game? Well, you need to look at it from two different perspectives here. From Epic's perspective, the way that they want to run competitive is a marketing tool. So they want to create storylines, they want to create a sort of ecosystem where they have these big hype moments like the Cammy and Seti getting landed by Queasy and Venno situation at Invitational. If they change the season to trios for the entire year and we get a trio LAN at the end of the year, you sort of lose that storyline that you've built up across these multiple years of Fortnite competitive. You lose out on some drama between, let's say, Queasy and Venno, because they've now split together and now they've gone with Tayson and Thomas HD. You have all these cool real storylines you can continue on from the last LAN, which you're kind of losing going into trios. So from their perspective and from a marketing perspective, it seems more likely that duos is the right move because it sort of builds up this better storyline and a better competitive community. At the same time, for us as a competitive community, I feel like duos is also the right move, considering it's the most stable game mode. It's not that hard to find a duo. In terms of casual players, it's always tough to find teammates. If you make it trios, now you have to find 2 teammates. If it's duos, you can always find someone that's like-minded or has similar placements to you and do well. The argument for solos is very, very valid in the fact that, you know, if you don't have good placements, then you're not going to find a good duo. But we do have solo victory cash cups in order to prove yourselves. We've had players come out of the woodworks like Cooper, who's done insanely well in these victory cash cups. Probably not the reason why you get picked up by Miro, but at the same time, you know, these placements matter. People look at those things and they will give you a chance. But I do feel like we are missing that major solo tournament where we had, you know, big players come out of it, like All-Stars. Venno's career was basically made by All-Stars at that point. He's got given chances with better duos and stuff like that. So I understand the fact that players, you know, they don't get the opportunities that they would want, and another year of duos is just gonna be another year of struggle for them. But there's plenty of chances and plenty of ways to prove yourself in an ecosystem, and making it trios will make it even harder than to find teammates as well in that situation. So is duo the right move? I think even though it might seem boring to have another year of duos, it is probably the best in terms of the most competitive way in order for it to be the most competitive game mode Fortnite has ever offered. I do feel like Fortnite thrives off of craziness and meta changes and things that are, you know, not the most competitive. And I think that we could fit in something spicy once a year, perhaps, like a different type of game mode. But if you want to keep it competitive, then perhaps duos might just be the best way to do it. I do hope, though, that, you know, we do get that craziness back in terms of metas and loot pool, because why not? Fortnite's crazy. We have a game running around with dinosaurs and pink teddy bears, so might as well have some crazy bullshit in it regardless. Let me know what you think of the duo cash cup changes. Are you excited for another year of duos? Are you excited for solo victory cups? Are you making money? If not, you suck. I've never made money in solo cash cups, but have yourself a good rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.